Hi, good afternoon. Welcome. We're streaming to you live from the Cubewise conference in Paris, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to Christian Wagner, who is joining us from IBM. He has given us some nice insights this morning about the direction that planning analytics is heading into, and I'd like to follow up with some more questions, and I'm sure you're all interested in hearing his answers. So Christian, thanks for joining us here and doing this interview. Maybe before we dive too much into roadmappy things and the details of planning analytics and things to come, can you quickly give a bit of background as to what your personal history with TM1 and planning analytics is?
Yeah, my history started about 16 years ago when I joined a company called Applix in 2003. As a consultant, as a solution consultant, I immediately fell in love with the product because it just does exactly what I always expected such a product to do. And since then, I'm continuously working with the software. So
what did you do before you came into that role?
Before that, I worked with a proprietary OLAP database and implemented that for demand planning. The company was called I2 these days.
Okay.
And I was there as a consultant for 6 years.
So you're already into the whole OLAP consulting?
Yes.
And then you stumbled up onto TM1?
Exactly. And this was by accident. There was a little announcement in the newspaper, just little text, and that changed my life.
That really literally changed your life?
Exactly.
Okay. So, and you've been sticking with TM1 since?
Since then. I did a lot of implementations, and then I went into a pre-sales role. I did a lot of proof of concepts, prototyping, feasibility studies. I did whenever things went wrong in a customer implementation, I went in and fixed it. Overall, I built about 400 different data models at about 400 different companies. So clearly I have a long history.
So you've seen a wide variety?
Yes, I have.
Do you know what it is that made you fall in love with it?
At the end, there was about 30 years ago, there was an explosion in analytics, and that was when the spreadsheet was invented. The spreadsheet allows to do calculations from cell to cell, and people liked it a lot. But there was also a downside with it, because all those isolated spreadsheets, they have been unmanaged and they haven't been consistent. And TM1 as a functional database solves that topic in a way that it is a kind of multi-dimensional spreadsheet that calculates from cell to cell, and all the users can collaborate on one thing, we call that cubes. At the end, it's that cell-based cube object, and people can collaborate, and with that, so they still have the advantage of the spreadsheet, but now in a managed way. And when I saw that the first time, I thought, yeah, that's exactly the right thing. That's what controllers and planners always have been missing, and that what exactly fits that gap. So it was just, it took one day, and then I got the concept.
Yeah.
And everything that is in there is still valid. And that's why I liked it so much. And I will probably like for quite some more time.
Yeah. But it is something that I can't recall ever having seen with other softwares, not coming down on any competitors or other tools, but this kind of nerdiness and love for software is unique to the TM1 world, I think.
It indeed is. And the thing is, you either love it or you maybe hate it. That could be, because many software developers or many IT, ERP developers or database developers, they more look at things from a relational point of view or from a procedural or list point of view. They don't go into that multidimensional thing. So, but on the other side, there are people, they see it and they like it from the beginning, and once you like it, you get it, you never let go. And that's really the thing. So we have some people who just aren't interested in that. And on the other side, we have that enthusiastic community that just loves the tool. And in that role, I also am hosting in the Central European region, the TM1 user conference, and it's easy to assemble 500 people just from the market by inviting them.
Yeah, just on pure enthusiasm.
Yeah, they're pure enthusiasms. They like it.
Yeah. In the beginning, a lot of the, I think the user acceptance came also from the tight integration with Excel.
Yes, that's a logical consequence out of that, because the database engine calculates from cell to cell, it's also accessible by a cell-based front end like Excel. You know, in Excel you have a cell, there is a number, and then you calculate from one cell to the other, and you know that calculation logic is pushed to the TM1 server, but you still want and need to visualize the data cell by cell. And with that cell-by-cell visualization, you can use the full functionality of Excel on top of the TM1 database. And there's nothing out in the market that is so tightly attached to Excel like TM1.
Yeah.
And that's just what every Excel lover by default also loves TM1. That's a logical consequence out of it.
It goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand, yes.
Well, you just mentioned you've built over 400 models. Is there like one or two models that still stand out in your mind as to that was something special or unique or particularly good about it?
There are so many. Maybe one model I've seen and I partially built, that was one where you do a margin calculation over 10 steps at about, and it is built in a way that it breaks back the margin. So you have whatever units multiplied by price is cost, then there is some discount, is a discounted price, then there is maybe some more factor and another result. And it is built in a way that you can enter that number on any stage of that kind of step, stairs, of that stairs. You enter the number and it's propagated upwards, but also downwards that stair. So it's a multi-dimensional break-back calculation. And that was really impressive to build, and that now is in production at Bayersdorf, and it's just a fantastic combination that shows how powerful TM1 can be. Yeah,
because it's the lack of limits as to how you can calculate things.
Exactly, there's no limitation in what calculations you want to build. That calculation engine is so strong that there is kind of nothing that you can't build. And when you build it, and you build it the right way, it's extremely fast, it's extremely powerful. You directly calculate from one cell to the other, and you don't need to do all the uproads with procedures and joins and the tabular relational things. You directly go from the source of the calculation to the target. That makes it so efficient and so powerful.
Yeah. All right.
And you asked me for a second model. I built another one where it was really about pure play performance, for example. And there we did a benchmark where we copied one version to another version. And there we could copy about 2 million cell records by second from one version to the other. 2 million by second. So that's the next thing, because TM1 is built as an in-memory technology from the beginning. It's extremely fast. So it's fast and efficient. And that's why with TM1 we win every benchmark. There is nothing that could come close to TM1.
The speed is quite
incredible. And that's also when you look at user acceptance criteria and reasons why users complain about software, then performance is always number one. So the number one factor for the acceptance of a software is the performance. That's why this is so important.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where we are good in.
All right. Good. Well, you've been a guest at our conferences multiple times, because we always love your insights in the roadmap of things to come. I love being here every year, and especially this year. You know, Paris is a great location. I liked it yesterday. It's good having you. When IBM took on Cognos and TM1 about 10 years ago, it was probably for a lot of people in TM1 world a bit of an unknown what would happen. But I think we can both conclude that good things have happened to TM1. It has moved forward. There have been incredible improvements in both the server side, the calculation speed, the multi-threaded queries, and all the server power that's been increased. But also on the front ends, the last couple of years, especially planning analytics, now we're going big steps ahead. Like TM1 has always been very good at calculating unlimited performance, but the front end was Excel and a lot of TM1 web, and now I feel that we've finally made that big step forward, and we can make TM1 sexy. So it was good to see your roadmap, that's still an area where there's a lot of investment continuing. So Workspace is of course the the main front end for visualization, for dashboarding. What do you think is the future of workspace? Will that keep growing? Is TM1 going to expand in the visualization area as well?
Yeah, of course. There is a lot of investment in workspace. Workspaces brings some new capabilities into TM1, and I think a main thing is that in earlier versions with TM1 Web, there was no self-service capability in the web. You just could consume whatever web sheet someone else built for you. In Workspace, you can every user can assemble his own dashboard, his own kind of application. It's easy to build an app, just having a few books connected through action buttons. So that's really new. And we're going to invest a lot in that. So especially when it comes to visualization, there will be more customization options, better charting. There will be a process of blending in functionality from Cognos Analytics and both ways around. So we can use a number of things from the Cognos Analytics product. And with that, I think we have a great times ahead of us.
Yeah.
But also there is investment in the Excel add-in, which is planning analytics for Excel now, which slightly is going to replace the old Excel add-in perspectives, although there is no date when this is going to happen.
They're going to run alongside
easy
each other
and long cycle glide path with it. But the new Excel add-in is based on the REST API, which is important. There are now new capabilities of using hierarchies, of doing asymmetric nesting, and many other functionalities that we didn't have in perspectives.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So those are the main investment areas.
You touched upon Cognos Analytics and Workspace, and that's probably a question that's on the mind of many users of Cognos Analytics. Like TM1 now has its own visualization with Workspace. There's Cognos Analytics. Those two are coming together. Will it be one product, or is it a slow evolution?
I can't talk about details of it, but there is overall those kind of products are going to merge together where they can share each other's components. So for the end user, it's a one portal where they log in, and they can then use the TM1 Planning Analytics Workspace widgets on top of TM1 in combination with the Cognos Analytics widgets connecting directly to relational database. The advantage, every site gets an advantage of it. The one for the Cognos Analytics people is that they have now the possibility to plan in that, to write back, and also to do OLAP analysis. For the TM1 customers, if they acquire that additional capability, they have the option now to report directly on relational data sources without the need of getting everything through a cube. So whatever you have a list report showing me the open orders of the last 3 days, there's no reason to run that through a cube. You simply do a simple select on a table of a database and visualize it, that's it. So there's Cognos Analytics is a better fit, and now they can do that. So you go to a TM1 cube, and with a cube view widget, and beside of it you can go to a relational source and also show something else. So that like blending, it's going to be a big thing. I'm looking forward to that.
It's a natural evolution that we probably always expected to come.
Yes, and it's a bit late. You know, we all know that there is a lot of history with both products, so it took a while until it went there. And one reason was for that. That to make this possible, TM1 needed a REST API, and that REST API is now there. Now we can build it. In the beginning, when Cognos acquired us, there wasn't a REST API, so it wasn't possible to do it that way, technically then. But now it is possible, and that's why we are doing it.
Yeah. All right. Good times ahead. We were speaking about Excel being at the heart of the initial success of TM1, the close Excel integration. I was happy to see on one of your slides of what's coming that Excel is now also an investment area identified by IBM. Because in the early days, Excel was looked upon and frowned upon a bit by some people because it's everything should go to the web and people should move away from Excel. Now it seems like Excel is being embraced again, which is a good thing.
Yeah, there was a mind change, but this is already quite a few years ago. But when Cognos acquired us originally, Cognos, from a mindset, was more a company that tries to replace Excel with something else, which may be right from a relational reporting point of view. But they didn't take into account so much how close TM1 and Excel are linked, and that to acknowledge that took a few years. So there was a point in time where the investment in Excel started again, and since then there's quite a bit of investment in going into Excel integration. Yeah. But this is not recent. This it was further ahead.
Well, it's good to see that Excel is still
and
in
they,
the focus.
They got it how key the Excel is for us, and we're all going to have also a good time ahead of us with that, because it is as valid as it was 20 or 30 years ago.
Yeah.
At the end, just there's nothing out in the market that is as flexible for visualization as a spreadsheet, because it's cell-based.
Yeah. And people have full control over what they do in Excel. On a web page, you can't grab the data.
The issue with spreadsheet was never the visualization of the spreadsheet. The issue was the governance, that people use spreadsheets to massage and maintain their own data, creating their own calculations, create their own version of the truth. And that's something companies need to get rid of, taking the data logic and the data out of Excel into something in the backend, which is TM1, but they can keep Excel for visualization. With that, they do both, the best of two worlds.
Yeah.
And that's just a superior concept.
All right. The next area that you talked about earlier today was about artificial intelligence coming into the world of TM1, statistical forecasting. It's something we're seeing at many of our clients as well, who are always having worked with TM1, with traditional models where hundreds of users key in numbers and prepare all the drivers and prepare the whole model, and then TM1 does all the calculations, who are now asking for, like, can we take away some of the human errors in inputting, some of the risks in people making wrong assumptions, and can we put something underneath that's statistical, that's more robust, and then the users can focus on the exceptions, on their business knowledge that the machine cannot know?
Yeah, what's being worked on is that IBM acquired at the end Cognos and us, the TM1 company, but they also acquired SPSS. And what happens is that the SPSS predictive algorithms find their way into the TM1 server and into planning analytics. It didn't happen through a direct way. It went in a way that the SPSS algorithms have been used in Watson Analytics. Watson Analytics was blended into Cognos Analytics, and with the blending with Cognos Analytics, they also now find their way into TM1. And with that, there is a concept of having them then available in TM1 kind of natively. But this is something to come. What we already can do today is just use SPSS modeler, the SPSS component, connect to the TM1 database, and do the predictive things as of today. The only thing is SPSS modeler is a tool for an expert and not for an end user, while what we are targeting is also to make that statistical functionality available for end users.
Bring down
for non-technical users. Yes, exactly.
Like do regression, do
exactly
the trends.
Take a data and put a regression on it, and let's see how it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. It's it is. It's booming everywhere, so it's good that we'll be able to embrace that on a easier level also in the TM1 world in planning analytics. All right, and then what intrigued me the most was what you showed in the end in the investment area on the workflow, where we used to have other solutions like with the contributor, TM1 applications, having a fixed hierarchy to do like a basic workflow, where now it looks like we're gonna have a richness of defining a real workflow with the timing, when does who need to do what exactly, with the status, with or without approvals, and all managed through a very intuitive user interface in Workspace. That looks
good looking, exactly. So we all have been waiting for that for quite a while, and I think it's very intuitive. It's something that can be set up by a business user. That doesn't have to be done by a technical administrator, because as of today, without that workflow component, to build a workflow in TM1 is quite easy, but it needs to be done by someone who needs to build a cube and create a calculation, create a process, and so on. And that's going to be removed. Then this is done is much more generic, and it's built by just someone who knows how the business process should look like, and he can build it with maybe one day of training or so, then it's doable.
Yeah. No. What I saw, like in a lot of the T1 models we built, people are depending on the T1 administrator to open close versions, to create a new version, to set up the security, and what you've shown on the print screens on the presentation looks like you can give it into the hands of the person running the budget or the forecast.
Exactly. That's what its purpose is.
He can decide whether to give that person that one extra day because he's late for submitting his budget. It looks like the threshold again is lowering in terms of what you need to do and need to know in TM1. So.
And that's in general one of the directions we go, that we make things TM1 easier accessible. I think there's no doubt about the power of the TM1 server, but there is potential to make it more accessible to non-technical users. Yeah. So that's one of the investment areas.
To bring down the bar.
And the workflow is one of these components.
Yeah. All right. Out of all the investment paths that we have, what is exciting you the most?
Yeah. Overall, there is a lot of investment of IBM in TM1. It's under, there is heavily R&D underneath it, and so at the end, I think the server is already far ahead of anything else in the market. It's the fastest, the most scalable, the most performant technology, and I'm just looking forward getting new, more rich front-end capabilities, not just by us with Planning Analytics, Planning Analytics Workspace and Planning Analytics for Excel, but also by all the business partners. The REST API is open for every company out there in the market to develop an application or a solution on top of TM1, and we encourage all the potential partners and also the competitors to do that, because it's just the most efficient way to work with these kind of controlling-oriented data. So this explicitly goes also to competitors. There is a number of them who are right now changing and developing something on top of TM1 instead of on top of, for example, a relational database. Yeah. Because TM1 is just better for that.
You can't rival with the performance.
Yes, absolutely. And as said, the REST API is open and everyone can do that.
Yeah, but it was something that we predicted when the REST API came.
Absolutely.
Have you seen many of those front ends already appear?
Yes. So on my user conference in Eningen on May 28th, we will have about 14 or 15 business partners presenting something on top of TM1. So it's really a large ecosystem is going to grow. Of course, Cubewise is in a kind of a lead there, among the leading partners with AppliQX and Canvas. So it's just growing. It's really it's amazing how to watch the speed of the growing.
Well, it's good to know that we're also not alone doing that, because that's sometimes a concern if we present it to customers and we talk about the REST API, then they say, but yeah, what if IBM decides to let go of the REST API or change it, and what would happen? But this is a strategic decision that we're gonna
exactly. That's a strategic decision. That's what we want to do.
Like all the new front ends, Planning Analytics for Excel, Workspace, they're all going through the REST API.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe a short word on T1 Web while we still have a moment. In Planning Analytics, T1 Web was also given a new facelift. Will T1 Web just stay more or less as is, or is there any functionality coming to T1 Web?
T1 Web stays as it is, and there is also something happened that the web sheets, the web sheet conversion mechanism is gonna move to the Planning Analytics Workspace, that it doesn't run externally as it runs today. It will run inside Workspace as an additional container-based service. But this is more technology in the background. The web sheet conversion mechanism as it is, it will stay. This is a key component for us.
But you can also do that in Workspace. You can take an Excel slice and you can load it and you can consult it in Workspace.
Yes,
because that's what.
But this is available today.
Yeah, so that we already have. And that's also what makes T1 Web popular, because all of a sudden, any financial controller can publish a report with graphs on the web without knowing HTML or anything.
Exactly. This is the kind of archetype of self-service analytics is using Excel on TM1, for example. Build something, build a report, build a screen, and then without having the need of programming, you can publish that to the web, and it's available through HTML to all the other users out there. So this is a key component, and that's going to stay. However it technically looks at the end, that's going to stay. Yeah. As far as I know. You know, I'm not an offering manager. I just can tell what I know and what I'm aware of.
But the hand-in-hand harmony of TM1 with Excel and with the web front end, what you also said in the end, like Workspace and PAX will also work in both directions seamlessly. That's the most natural way to go, and we're really happy that this direction keeps evolving in that way. All right, well, I think that's wrapping it up for today. So I want to thank you for first of all being here in Paris and taking us through the roadmap and doing this interview. So guys, stay tuned because there's more interviews coming up soon. For now, do a little clap by yourself at home for Christian.
Okay.